Hi, it's Dwyer. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Today is November 22nd, 2023. Let's talk boxing. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, occasionally in boxing, you get a gift. You have a fight that's well known, that a lot of people have seen, where a fighter who's an underdog exceeds expectations against a careless, and we'll underline the word careless here, careless vet, right? That fighter wins the title. Everyone remembers the power display. Everyone remembers Chris Billam Smith, right? We'll call him CBS. He calls himself CBS. He has worn trunks that have his initials, CBS, on them. CBS drops Lawrence Okoli three times. In a fight, I still think Okoli, had he gone about it the right way, should have won with a cushion. But Okoli didn't. He got caught up in the crowd. He tried to cut corners, gets dropped three times. Right? Billam Smith is now the champion. Now, it's great for bettors like me and you because we understand who Masternak, the guy he has picked as his opponent, is. We know he's a crafty vet. We know he easily could have won that Dorticos fight. Could have been, same fight, could have been awarded the decision. It's a close fight. But let's just say both fighters in that one did enough to win. Two of the judges had that fight scored 115-113. For those of you who want to watch the fight and who will see the mastery that Masternak can present in the ring, just look in my favorites folder right now. The fight is there, right? It's Masternak against Dorticos. Understand, too, Masternak went the distance with Tony Bellew. This is a clever, cagey fighter who's not going to make the mistake Okoli made. Now let's talk about Okoli for a minute. And I don't mean to diss Okoli, right? But he made a mistake, and he knows he made the mistake. Well, just understand, at the highest levels of the sport, fighters will cut corners. They'll do things that they know are not the right way to do things because it will throw off their opponent. It might also allow them to conserve energy, right? It might also keep them out of harm's way. So, Larry Holmes, with one of the best jabs I have ever seen in any weight class. Larry Holmes, by his own admission, used to throw that jab from his waist. He didn't want to hold his hands up the entire fight. Also, an opponent couldn't properly prepare for the stiffness of Larry's jab when Larry was throwing it from around his belt line. Right? You might recall in the second Tyson Fury-Deontay Wilder fight, Fury starts using his left hand as a measuring stick. You might recall him trying to figure out the spacing because who wants to be within the area code of Wilder's right hand? So Fury sticks his left hand out to make sure that he's an arm's length away. Understand, folks, this is boxing. That's not allowed. The referee allowed it. Right? So Fury in the early rounds, and that's the fight where there's a stoppage, right? Fury gets the stoppage. Wilder then fires his trainer, right? The trainer, of course, throws in the towel from, or waves the towel from Wilder's corner, right? But just understand, Fury is sticking his hand out. It's a rangefinder. He's not even pretending to throw the jab. And Wilder just stands there and lets Fury measure him. Now that brings us to CBS against Okoli before a CBS crowd, right? Okoli and Life's Unfair right? Okoli, even in the UK, was not a beloved champion, right? Understand, Okoli's style, great jab. Then when you get inside, he clinches you. In the 1970s, folks, that was Ali's style, right? Ali had better legs than Okoli. Ali had a mobile jab, right? Okoli, great stationary jab. But understand, if you look at, Ali against people like Ernie Shaver, stronger fighters, Ali, in fact, the Fraser rematch, right? Fraser gets inside. What does Ali do? Ali clinches Fraser. In the 70s, we loved Ali, even with all the clinching, right? Ali, Ernie Shavers, Shavers gets inside, Ali clinches Ernie Shavers, right? We loved it. Lawrence Okoli now clinches an opponent. We don't love him, right? The personalities are different. Okoli doesn't come across like Ali. We, the crowd, are being unfair to Okoli, who's highly skilled. I think he'd be successful at heavyweight, right? I think one of the problems Okoli had here is he's keeping himself at 6'5" at cruiserweight. And so it's impacting his punch resistance, right? When you dumb down your weight, when you're water deprived, you can't take punches. So here's Okoli against CBS, with whom he sparred in the past, right? Okoli is channeling Tyson Fury. Okoli has a great jab. Then Okoli starts just leaving the jab out there, sticking it out there as a rangefinder, right? The problem is that Okoli isn't fighting Deontay Wilder. While Wilder just stood outside, while Fury's using this rangefinder, Billam Smith jumps around the rangefinder, hits Okoli with the perfect left hook. Okoli goes down, never recovers, right? The rest of the fight is Okoli hugging CBS. I thought the ref was a little unfair myself, right? But then again, I'm a child of the 70s who watched a lot of hugging in the ring, right? But Okoli's hugging CBS, the ref's taking points away, CBS continues to hurt him, right? Drops Okoli 2 more times. Okoli loses the fight by several rounds, right? But understand the genesis is that first left hook off of Okoli sticking his hand out, not as a punch, leaving it out, losing his balance, and then having his opponent literally walk around his outstretched rangefinder and hitting him flush with that left hook. Right, so Okoli gets blown out by a fighter he should have kept on the outside. Right, let's offer a theory on CBS. The first is that he hits harder than advertised. Right, this guy's only loss was to Richard Riakporhe, and that was by split decision. Right, he's better than you think. He hits harder than you think. But here's the problem. This is a range fight. At long range, Masternak has the advantage. Right? I'll agree. If CBS, and both of these guys are in their 30s, folks, neither guy here is a spring chicken. But if CBS can wear down Masternak, get this into the later rounds where a 36-year-old Masternak might start to tire and CBS might be able to get closer to him. CBS has the advantage at very short range. But Masternak is that cagey vet who's going to make this fight go several rounds, if not the distance, like he did several years ago. I'll admit it's been several years, against Tony Bellew, like he did against the KO doctor, they called him, Uniel Dorticos. Right? Masternak has been in the ring with big punchers, and just understand, and I know what I'm going to say here sounds controversial. CBS, to me, does not have ring coverage. In other words, one of the reasons why Wilder standing straight upright, looking at Fury stick his hand out, is because Wilder has ring coverage. Wilder may have thought to himself, hey, let this guy think he has the distance figured out. The minute he drops this pawing, outstretched left hand, I'm just going to do a drop step and hit him with a straight right. Right? Wilder can hit you from halfway across the ring. In my opinion, CBS cannot. He needs to be in the pocket to start to drill you. The reason he is in the pocket against Okoli is rather than pump one of boxing's best jabs. That's what Okoli has. Okoli instead tried to channel his inner Tyson Fury. He just sticks the hand out there and is lazy with it. Folks, if you want to get countered and hurt, have your punches linger. Throw punches and then have your hand out. Right? Understand, if your hand is leaned out, in Okoli's case, it's his left hand. If his left hand is extended, he can't use it for anything. Then when Billam Smith gets around, Billam Smith has him naked. Okoli couldn't even get his hand up. Okoli didn't know what to do. Okoli was surprised that Billam Smith had pivoted and was deep in the pocket against him. Well, KG vet Masternak now has that film. Right? Like you and me, he can just pull up Okoli's mistakes against Billam Smith. Right? Let me point out too, did anyone realize that when Okoli is trying to grab Billam Smith is landing hellacious, short punches. This is a guy who can deliver power with very short punches deep in the pocket. Right? If Okoli wasn't so weight drained and unable to take solid punches to this extent, he would have been better off going backward, not forward. Right? You don't want to be deep in the pocket against a short puncher. I believe Masternak, from distance, has a clear advantage. Even if Billam Smith invites him into the pocket, Masternak's not going to go. Masternak's going to be outside. He's going to be using head movement. He's going to be throwing punches with his arm extended. And after looking at this Okoli tape, he's not going to have any of the punches linger. Right? There'll be no time where he's measuring, CBS and sticking his hand out. No. He's going to force CBS to come find him. Folks, that's going to take several rounds. Now, there are times when boxing kids itself. Somebody in the comment section explained to me how CBS could have been the underdog against Okoli. He gets the surprise win in the title. And now suddenly, against a KG vet like Masternak, is going off at something like a 4-1 favorite. Folks, that's excessive. When you see Masternak, I don't care if the opponent's Bellew, Dorticos, or CBS, when you see Masternak going off at a greater than 3-1, right? Understand, CBS is 4-1 because he's the favorite. There's a VIG involved. The underdog is going off at greater than 3-1. Right now, he's going off at about a 330, plus 330. When you see Masternak at a plus 330, you got to grab that bet. The purpose of this video isn't to say that Masternak wins the fight. No, what I'm trying to do is to lock in a hedge. The casino right now is offering you the plus 330 on the underdog against a new champion who won the title by upset, who won the title by stoppage against an opponent who never recovered off the first left hook. Right? CBS won't be able to find Masternak from distance with power shots. I believe this fight's going to make it into the second half of the 12 rounds. At that point, when we get substantially better odds on prop bets that haven't yet been released on the champion, then at that point, I'll jump in the water and I'll say, okay, I've gotten a plus 330 on the Masternak side of the play. Let me see if I can get good odds on the CBS side of the play. For CBS to win this fight, it's going to have to happen late. Right now, I haven't seen an over or under. This is really a part 1 video. When more odds are released, we'll jump in the water. But understand, the minute you hear that they're giving you Masternak, and Masternak's a fitness buff, I understand. He's older. He only fought once in 2022. That will have been more than a year before this fight. We get it. But he's a fitness buff. You look at him and you can tell he stays in shape. Right? He has gone the distance against highly credible opponents. You know he's going to be in shape for this fight. He can't believe how lucky he is. There's a new champ who was supposed to lose to Okoli, and now Masternak at 36 has a shot at the title. So you need to grab the plus 330 on Masternak simply to win. We'll come up with a hedge later. Depending on the over-under, it might be the over. It might be CBS by late stoppage or decision. But don't kid yourself, folks. CBS should not be a 4-1 favorite. You should not be getting better than 3-1 on Masternak. Right? Someone's going to have to explain to me how you're getting these odds on Masternak. I wouldn't expect you to get these odds on Masternak against Richard Riakporhe, who beat CBS. Right? CBS is a new champion. That's a different dynamic. Some guys are much better on the way up than they are staying at the top. Right? This line to me is a gift. Apparently a lot of people watched that first fight. If you look at the highlights, all you see is Okoli hitting the canvas and holding. Right? Maybe the public perception right now is very strong on CBS. But he's fighting a cagey vet. Experience matters in boxing. Right? When you're dealing with cagey vets like this, you can have a spirited fight through the first 8 rounds. The cagey vet is getting off his stool for the 9th round. He's been there before. Right? The cagey vet can look at the Okoli film and can say, wow, Okoli gave this fight away, didn't he? What's he doing with no defense for a left hook? What's he doing lazily keeping his left hand extended? While Billam Smith is able to just pivot around the left hand and find him naked. Right? Masternak's not going to make that mistake. He's going to know, Billam Smith deep in the pocket, I have problems. But from distance, if I keep this in the middle of the ring, I'm going to win my share of rounds. Expect this fight to go several rounds. If it goes the distance, folks, there's going to be controversy because Masternak brings range and volume. And he's pretty good defensively. I like Masternak plus 330. I admit, I think Billam Smith might win the fight in the later rounds. When they release those odds, I'll do a part 2 on how I'm hedging it. But what I'm not going to do is sit on my fingers, see these odds, Masternak plus 330, and then watch the world wisen up and suddenly lose the opportunity. Suddenly Masternak is down around a plus 200. Even that would be excessive. But Masternak drops to a plus 200 and I'm here kicking myself because I could have gotten a plus 330. But I was full of myself and didn't take the bait. I'm taking the bait. This is a competitive fight. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. If you feel CBS has ring coverage, right? I'll agree he has faster feet than he lets on, right? But that's different from, let's say, a David Haye or a Deontay Wilder, who can knock you out from, almost halfway across the ring, it seems. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thanks for stopping by.